On the night of June 11, 1962, inmates Frank Morris and brothers John and Clarence Anglin escaped from Alcatraz Federal Penitentiary, the maximum security prison on Alcatraz Island in San Francisco Bay, California. After 6 months of planning, the three men placed papier-mâché heads resembling themselves in their beds, broke out of the main prison building through ventilation ducts and an unguarded utility corridor, and left the island on an improvised inflatable raft, disappearing into uncertainty. A fourth inmate, Alan West, was unable to escape with them and remained behind. Over the following years, the FBI and local law enforcement pursued hundreds of leads, but no definitive evidence regarding the fate of Morris and the Anglins ever surfaced. In 1979, the FBI concluded, based on circumstantial evidence and expert opinion, that the three inmates most likely drowned in the cold waters of San Francisco Bay while attempting to reach the mainland. The U.S. Marshals Service case file remains open, and Morris and the Anglin brothers will remain on the wanted list until between 2026 and 2031. Many theories of varying plausibility have been proposed by authorities, reporters, family members, and enthusiasts, with new circumstantial and material evidence continuing to emerge, fueling ongoing debate about whether the inmates survived their daring escape. Frank Lee Morris, born on September 1, 1926, in Washington, D.C., disappeared on June 11, 1962. His mother, Clara, was a runaway who refused to stay at home when she was young. She named him Frank Lee Morris after a civil engineer she claimed to have married, although she admitted he was not the child's father. Morris was placed first in a foster home and later in an orphanage, where his mother visited him twice a week. He was not close to her. She had uncontrolled anger and did not give him proper care or attention. Morris was described as friendly and quiet, but by the age of 6, he began stealing small amounts of money from a teacher's desk and searching through other children's lunchboxes, usually after visits from his mother. Later in life, Morris said that his parents died in 1937. At the age of 11, Morris was orphaned and spent the rest of his childhood moving between foster homes. He was convicted of his first crime at 13. By his late teenage years, he had been arrested for crimes including narcotics possession and armed robbery. During his early years in prison, he worked serving meals to inmates. He was later arrested for grand larceny in Miami Beach, car theft, and armed robbery. Morris was reported to be highly intelligent, ranking in the top 2% of the general population, with an IQ of 133. He served time in prisons in Florida and Georgia, then was sent to the Louisiana State Penitentiary to serve 10 years for robbery and possession of marijuana. In April 1955, Morris escaped from the Louisiana prison with another inmate, William Martin. They hitchhiked and were picked up by an African-American farmer who dropped them off near an oil refinery outside Baton Rouge. The two men spent several months in New Orleans, watched a bank in the town of Slidell across Lake Pontchartrain, and then traveled north to Kansas City. A year later, Morris was recaptured while committing a burglary with a third partner, Earl Branchey. He was sent to Alcatraz on January 18, 1960, where he became inmate AZ-1441. John and Clarence Anglin. John William Anglin, born on May 2, 1930, and Clarence Anglin, born on May 11, 1931, both disappeared on June 11, 1962. They were born into a family of 13 children in Donaldsonville, Georgia. Their parents, George Robert Anglin and Rachel Van Miller Anglin, worked as seasonal farm laborers. In the early 1940s, the family moved to Ruskin, Florida, about 20 miles south of Tampa, where farming and tomato fields provided more stable work. Every June, the family traveled north as far as Michigan to pick cherries. John and Clarence were very close as children and were rarely apart. They became strong swimmers and surprised their siblings by swimming in the cold waters of Lake Michigan, even when ice was still floating on the surface. Clarence was first arrested at the age of 14 for breaking into a service station. In the early 1950s, the brothers began committing robberies together, mainly targeting banks and closed businesses so that no one would be hurt. They later claimed they used a weapon only once, during a bank robbery, and that the weapon was a toy gun. On January 17, 1958, John, Clarence, and their brother Alfred Anglin robbed the Bank of Columbia in Columbia, Alabama, stealing 19,000 pounds. The FBI later captured them, and all three received sentences of 35 years in prison. They served time at Florida State Prison, Leavenworth Federal Penitentiary, and later Atlanta Penitentiary. After several escape attempts at the Atlanta facility, Clarence tried to smuggle John out of Leavenworth by using two large bread boxes. He cut the top off one box and the bottom off another, placed John inside, stacked the boxes together, and packed them with loaves of bread. A truck was prepared to transport the boxes to a prison farm camp, but a supervisor became suspicious of the size and discovered the plan. After this incident, John and Clarence were transferred to Alcatraz. John arrived on October 24, 1960, as inmate AZ-1476, and Clarence arrived on January 16, 1961, as inmate AZ-1485. Alan Clayton West was born on March 25, 1929, in New York City, and died on December 21, 1978. Over time, he developed a slight Southern accent from spending years in Georgia. West had a long history of car theft and had served 3 separate prison farm sentences. He was known for violent and aggressive behavior, which made him unpopular with guards at Alcatraz. As punishment, he spent time in isolation in D Block and worked as a maintenance orderly. West was arrested more than 20 times during his life. In 1955, he was imprisoned for car theft, first at Atlanta Penitentiary and later at Florida State Prison. After attempting to escape from the Florida prison, he was transferred to Alcatraz in 1957 to serve a 10-year sentence for car theft and became inmate AZ-1330. He returned for a second term in 1958 as inmate AZ-1335. On January 30, 1960, Frank Morris was moved into cell number 138 on the outside of B Block. Alan West was housed in the cell next to him. West played the accordion and was known as a compulsive talker. According to San Francisco Chronicle reporter John Campbell Bruce, Morris likely did not like West at first. In late summer of 1960, Morris lost contact with West for an unknown period when West helped create a fight during a noon meal. The disturbance distracted the guards and allowed inmate Wagstaff to stab another prisoner in a different part of the mess hall. After this incident, both West and Wagstaff were sent to D Block. Morris may have met John Anglin when John arrived at Alcatraz in October 1960, as the two had known each other previously at the Atlanta Penitentiary. When Clarence Anglin arrived in January 1961, the brothers were placed in neighboring cells. Some reports state that Morris and the Anglin brothers had never known West before arriving at Alcatraz, while other accounts claim that all 4 men had known each other from earlier imprisonments in Florida and Georgia. There are conflicting accounts about who planned the escape. John Campbell Bruce wrote that the plan was created under Morris's leadership. According to him, Morris once spoke with another inmate in the brush shop who told him that in 1957, an inmate electrician named Willard Winhoven had removed a fan motor from a ventilation shaft leading to the roof of B Block, and that no replacement had ever been installed. The inmate joked that Morris should ask the bull for the key, meaning ask a guard for access. Morris waited until West was released from solitary confinement in early 1962. Morris then ordered an accordion similar to West's, and later explained the escape plan to the Anglin brothers and West. After the escape failed, West claimed during interrogation that the idea had been his. He said that while painting the prison roof in the spring of 1961, he noticed the ventilation shafts and realized they could be used to escape. According to West, he shared the idea with the Anglin brothers, who then brought Morris into the plan. Prison officials doubted West's claim because of his criminal background and believed that Morris was the true mastermind. In his autobiography, Alcatraz, The True End of the Line, former inmate Darwin Coon stated that John Anglin was the one who planned the escape. Over the next 6 months, the inmates slowly widened the ventilation openings beneath their sinks. They used discarded saw blades found on prison grounds, metal spoons from the mess hall, and an improvised electric drill made from the motor of a vacuum cleaner. They hid their work by covering the holes with painted cardboard and used Morris's accordion to cover the noise during music hour. Once the openings were large enough, they crawled through them into an unguarded utility corridor behind the cells. From there, they climbed to the unused top level of the cell block and set up a hidden workshop. Using more than 50 stolen and donated raincoats and other materials, they made homemade life vests based on a design Morris found in the March 1962 issue of